YouTube, this is Midaslex, and I'm here for today to bring out a deck profile for February 2026, post-Banlist. Now, I went undefeated on February 4th of 2026 at the Charmer Structure Deck, and I won this beautiful playmat. What nice, gorgeous detail it has. But you might be wondering, why did you have a Structure Deck tournament? Like, it's been 2 weeks since the Structure Decks came out. Well, I'll tell you why. Because of weather conditions, they got the mats from Konami, but they did not get the decks in time because of weather condition, so we had to do an ultimatum. We select a day to have the Structure Deck tournament, or play that day, like 2 weeks ago, and are given the Structure Decks later on. But we decided to just postpone it until Wednesday, February 4th, where I went undefeated and won this gorgeous playmat. Isn't that right, Jack Jaguar? Oh, you. You might be wondering, what am I playing? Well, it is never been touched on the new Banlist, I should say. Hasn't been touched at all. One of the key components did not get hit for some reason. And I believe it's going to be one of the top 5 meta decks of 2026 February. That is Lunalight. So, let's get to the deck profile. Starting off the deck profile, we have 3 copies of Lunalight Gold Leo. She is the best starter of the deck. Just having one singular copy of her is full board combo. On normal summon or special summon, she could search for a Lunalight monster, and then, for effect, discard a card, which triggers the allot of the Lunalight cards that would activate when they are sent to the graveyard by card effect. Her other ability goes in tandem with Kaleidochick, but we'll get to her in a second, is whenever a Lunalight monsters are sent to the graveyard, I could target one of them and return them back to hand, so which is pretty nice. So next, we have the most broken Lunalight there is out there, Lunalight Kaleidochick. So what she does is, for cost, she sends a Lunalight monster from deck or extra deck for cost. And her effect is, when she is used as fusion material, she becomes the monster that she sent, which is really nasty because you could just send off Leo Dancer from the extra deck, and she becomes Leo Dancer on field, so you can bring out the big tower girl. She has other abilities. The other ability is, when she's sent to the graveyard via card effect, she could target a polymerization in graveyard to add it back to hand, which is part of the combo, the main linear combo. She also has another ability that I don't even go into that often. If she is banished, this turn, opponent's cards and effects cannot be activated during the battle phase, which I barely play. Doesn't come up often because my opponent can't solve anything with against the big tower ladies. Next up, we have 2 copies of Cyberhound. Cyberhound is an amazing piece. When she is sent to the graveyard via card effect, I can special summon one Lunalight monster from my deck to the field. However, while I control that monster that she brought out, I am locked into special summons from the extra deck that are Lunalights. So it Xeno locks it a little bit, but it says while you control this card. So if you were to return the monster you brought out with this, you are back on the extra deck. You're fine. She also has another ability that comes in clutch. While she's in the graveyard, my opponent activates a spell or trap card, or effect. I can banish itself and a Lunalight fusion in my graveyard as cost, so it dodges, Call by the Grave, negate the effect. And that's essentially it. Next up, we have another important key piece of the deck, 2 Black Sheep. So, being part of the combo, you can discard this card, target a Lunalight monster in the graveyard add it back to the hand, or you can add a polymerization from your deck to the hand, which you play 1 poly. You need to see poly as fast as possible. However, she has not a once per turn ability. She is sent to the graveyard as a fusion material. She can non-target return a Lunalight monster from the graveyard back to the hand, except for herself, which that is, or for the face of extra deck too, which that come up often in this deck too. So that's it for the triplicates and the duplicates. Let's get on to the singletons. One copy of Lunalight Yellow Martin and one copy of Emerald Bird. These are in different languages. I do pardon it, but I do know them phonetically. So these both have an effect when they're sent to graveyard. Her effect is when she's sent to the graveyard via card effect, I can add a Lunalight spot trap card from my deck to the hand. She also has an ability where I could target a Lunalight card on the field, return to hand, and she could special summon herself from hand or graveyard. But she is banished when she uses that effect. Emerald Bird, when she is normal summon or special summon, I could send a Lunalight card from hand to graveyard to draw one card. So that is considered as a card effect. When she is sent to the graveyard via a card effect, she can special summon one Lunalight monster from the graveyard or the banishment to bring it out to the field. It goes into defense position, but its effects are negated. So you use this for extension in the combo. One copy of Tiger and one copy of Wolf. A lot of people don't play Wolf. I love Wolf. Just being a Miracle Fusion's pretty stupid. Some people play like 2 or 3 Tiger. I'm comfortable with one. So Tiger back in the day used to be banned for a very good reason. Her being not a once per turn can just special summon one from graveyard. She can be returned and then activated again to activate the effect again. Same with her. She could just be returned back to the hand after using a Miracle Fusion effect and just do the fusion again. Another thing about this, these are pendulum monsters. If you have one of each scales, I actually have pendulum summoned a handful of times with this deck to make the full board combo. That's it for the Lunalight monsters, and for the honorary Lunalight, we have one copy of Tri-Brigade Fractal. Just being a Foolish Burial is just stupid. And speaking of Foolish Burial, we are on one copy of Foolish Burial. This just gets the combo starting. If you just open up this or one of these, it's just full combo, just sending off the Silverhound to get things started. But speaking of the Foolish Burial, we have the honorary Foolish Burial in the archetype. We have 3 copies of Masquerade. Masquerade is very crucial in the deck. Being able to activate while it was face up on the field to dump a Lunalight from the deck to the graveyard, which you can send Silverhound to do effect. But she also has an ability where if I were to fusion summon a Lunalight monster, I could add a polymerization to the grave or banishment back to the hand, and then if I'd want to, I could discard a card, and then I can use it as like a Miracle Fusion. In case if I don't go into Wolf, I could just use her as a Miracle Fusion outlet to bring out the second lady, which is pretty dumb. We have the honorary polymerization, which could be searched off a Black Sheep. Part of the full combo, we centralize around this card. One copy of Lunalight Fusion. It should all fusion. It's stupid. One copy of Serenade Dance paired with 2 copies of Foolish Burial Goods. If you open up this, it's just another way to just get the game rolling. Banish itself as cost, and then discard, and then special summon one from deck. The discard is for effect, so if you were to have, let's say, a Silverhound in hand, you could pitch it for effect, and then bring out a Lunalight monster. Like Gold Leo, you go Gold Leo, Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2, Silverhound, 2 special summon Collider Chick, which, that's the full combo. Next, we have 2 perfumes. Being able to Monster Reborn and then banish it and then discard a card to search for any Lunalight monster is just sick. One of the tanky, we don't need as much searchers because we lose hard to Droll, but Droll got hit to 2, so we don't worry as much, but this is just another combo piece, which we could just set it off of Tiger King. That is it for the engine, and now for non-engine, we played 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, no explanation needed. 3 copies of Fuwa, this card came up often. So we used to play 3 Droll, but now since Droll went to 2, it gives a nice and a welcome to Cross-Out Designator. Being paired with Crawl by the Grave, we have a second out to Droll. We also have like other outs to like Fuwa, Amir, Ash Blossom, all that. We also played a copy of Triple Tactics. This was used a lot. And for the last card, Imperm. This just shutting off K9, Noroi. This hitting the Crystal lock is just pretty good. Just an overall negate, you know, pretty nice and simple. A nice, simple, non-engine lineup. And now for the extra deck. We have 2 copies of the best girl around. It is Liger Dancer. Liger Dancer, her fusion material requirements are 3 Lunalight monsters and a Leo Dancer, which we just break these out. We don't bring these out often. She is just the name for the dump, you know, but her ability is, as states, she is unaffected by all other cards except for her cards from her own archetype. So you can't super poly it. You cannot be affected by it in perm. Cannot do anything like that. She also, once per turn per card, she is a special summon monster Raigeki by sending a Lunalight fusion monster from your extra deck to the graveyard to just Raigeki. And then she can attack twice. Pretty fun. Fun. 2 copies of the Perfume Dancer. Searching the perfume and being able to target Lunalight card on the field to bounce it back to hand, and then you can special summon 1 Lunalight monster from your hand to the field, which is pretty nice. Just being further extensions, just to reset Tiger and just go off. And she also has a graveyard effect, which, if people are very smart, if they were to send off their own copy of this affects my Ligers. So my Ligers would go from 3,800 attack to a mere 300 attack via her effect, which is silly. Then we're playing the discard outlets for the Liger, playing 1 Saber Dancer. I make her sometimes if I'm really in a pinch to make a big monster, but her main ability is, if she is in the graveyard, except the turn she is sent there, she banishes herself to target a Lunalight monster I control to gain 3,000 attack. So my 3,800 monster becomes a 6,800 monster that can attack twice, which is silly. And then the 1 copy of Cat Dancer. I've made this only a couple of times playing this deck. Just being able to not be destroyed by battle is pretty darn effective, like just as a stall outlet. But she is just used as cannon fodder. Next, for the XYZs, playing 1 copy of the Tiger King, just being an incredible combo piece just to set Tanky, to activate Tanky. Going second, it's pretty nice just to floodgate my opponent to stop his monsters from interacting with me on their field. So it's pretty sick. 1 copy of Dagaris in case if we open up with Tanky. This is another creature we just dig deeper, and then we also discard for effect, so it will trigger any of the Lunalights that we discard. Pretty nice. And then the 1 card that did not get hit on the ban list, Big Ol' Baguska. This card wins games with double Liger on board. Just these 3 monsters. They can't do anything, and it's a hard thing to out. Coming right now, this format, I'm very scared of Aircraft because they side raw Sphere Mode. So Sphere Mode ends this board. Like, we can't do anything else. But I'm just surprised that this card stayed out of the ban list. Like, we get to keep this for another format. Pretty sick. And then the last of the XYZs, we played the copy of Typhon. Playing this deck, I made Typhon once and it won me the game while playing this deck. I like Typhon as in case shit happens. It's pretty sick. Now for the Link monsters, 1 copy of Cross Sheep. Cross Sheep is a very mandatory combo piece in the deck. 1 Illumirage. I've actually made this a couple times. Then the last off is another combo piece in the end board. SP Lunalight, SP Baguska, and then 2 big girls. That is the end piece. This is what the end board should look like. Usually my end board will look like this because I am afraid of Gorgon. That's another card that this deck has trouble with. It's Gorgon with an IP Masquerena as material. That's it for the extra deck, though. Side deck. We sided in 3 Nibiru's. I was expecting to go against Cool Tune this tournament round. I did not. This card did not see play at all. 2 copies of more Charmy Perlia and 2 copies of Meows. Did not see play at all. We put in the Perlius in the side siding in, but we did not see it. We only saw Fuwa's today, and Fuwa's carried. 3 of the best card that I was ever printed. 3 heavy poly. Going second, we could just go aggro bomb, bringing out a Liger Dancer for basically nothing, like 2 monsters from the hand and 2 from the extra deck. Sure, we burn, but we bring out a Liger, and nothing can out a Liger except for very circumstantial cards. 2 triple attack, thrust. We did not see this card at all. We never saw it. Then 3 copies of Evenly Matched. This card is good, this format, because there's barely any spell or trap card interaction to stop this card. I put it in last round against Brandon. Never saw it. I never saw it. But, however, that is the end of the deck list. Alright, so, the deck report and the rounds. Round 1, we played against a new Blue Eyes player, just pure Blue Eyes. I beat them game 1. Game 2, I helped them out a little bit, and they beat me. But game 3, it was a bit of a close match, but I brought out the 2 girls, and it was over. Round 2, I should say, I played against Blue Eyes Primite. Blue Eyes Primite, game 1, I went absolute full combo, and won the game. Game 2, they went full combo, and they drill beamed my my gold Leo, and that was the game. Game 3, they made me go first, and I just, imperm, won, Round 3, I played against my buddy. He was on K9 Mitsu, which is interesting because it got hit on the ban list, but it was a really tough matchup. Game 1, I went first, and I normal summoned Gold Leo, and I tried to do my effects. He just scooped and just handed me the game, and he went to game 2. Game 2, he activated D-Fissure, did full combo, and I was left in the dirt because I had a bunch of cards to send from deck to graveyard, and Fissure hurts that, so I did not be able to play. So I went to game 3. Game 3, I opened up with a Joel Mockbird. I think I opened up Thrust. I opened up Perfume. I opened up a Serenade Dance. And I believe I opened up with a Lunalight Fusion. I just set Serenade Dance, and I went pass. He drew his card, went pass. I then drew into Tanky, and then it was a really confusing match because I just went activate. He chained Prolia, and then I went tactics. I looked at his hand. It was double Droll, Fuwa. I believe there was Imperm, and then another non-engine card. I took away the Imperm because I didn't want to take away 2 Droll. So I took away the Imperm, and I went off, and I got to the point where I made the Perfume Dancer. I added the second copy of Perfume, and that's when they drolled me because they kept digging into the deck to find a combo piece, but it was kind of hopeless. I made, I believe, not double Liger Dancer. I made 1 Liger Dancer, and then I proceeded to go to the end phase. They drew their card for turn. They activated Chaotic Elements and they add Jokel. I then went Droll and Lockbird, and that was the end of the game. It was a very brutal. Then game 4, round 4, we played against the new Branded with the new White Dragon. Game 1, I Fuwa'd them whenever they brought on monster from the deck, and I just kept drawing cards, and they brought Granganol. That can only mean one thing. They were going to do the Christia lock. Thankfully, I drew into Imperm. I drew into Imperm 3 cards down with Fuwa, and I was fine there. And I just activated Imperm during my turn, and I just went off full combo, made double Liger, and I swung for game. And game 2 was a bit frustrating because of Branded opening of how it is worded. Branded opening words states that it banishes for instead of destruction, so it cannot be affected by Silverhound, which that's fine. But it was a really tough matchup. But at the end of it all, I brought out a Liger Dancer, and I proceeded to push face in, and that's how I won this map, and that's how I won the tournament. So thank you guys very much for tuning in into Midas Lex. If you can subscribe. You can give us a like, give it a comment, give you a review. What do you think is going to be the next deck for the format of February 2026? Let me know in the comments. All right, guys. Peace out.